Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
Thank you for joining me at SoundStage Talks. I'm Edgar Kramer from SoundStage Australia. Today I'll be talking to David Tovissi from Harman, Rune Skov from Gryphon Audio, Bjorn Bengtsson from Nordost, John Ong from Sound Gallery, who's a host for us today in his beautiful new premises, and Michael O'Rourke from Linn. I want to start off by asking you guys, how do you manifest on a personal level, how do you manifest your role within the company, and how do you go about expressing that to the general public? How do you see your role within? How do you express it?
Who wants to go first? I'm responsible for the product development for Harman, for other luxury brands. And in order for me to really understand the needs of those consumers, I have to go out and do stuff like this, meet with the clients, go to the shows. So it keeps me in touch with I was fortunate that I had a retail store myself. So I understand what most salespeople are going through. So you got to make those connections with the staff and with the consumer. So it's like Christmas every day for me to go out and be with my peers and the customers. So.
It's great that you come from a retail level as well, and now you've got a fuller picture of how the industry works that way.
It really helps you because you know what they're going through. And
sure.
Yeah, my role is very diverse because Gryphon overall is a tiny company. It's not big, we are not many people. So sometimes we have to wear different hats.
Yes.
But in general, it's sales and marketing. But normally I would say that what I do is that I make connections and I make relationships and I establish them and trying to nurture, what do you call it? Nurture them?
Yes,
to take good care, take good care of them and make sure that people they are feeling well and they're being respected and they're being heard and seen. But I'm also a part of the whole of the board, so all the heavy decisions that have to be made, I'm part of that as well. So it is multi-functions. We tend to say, because we run like a split management, so Jakob Odgaard, our CEO, he is the minister of everything within the four walls,
right,
and I'll handle everything outside the four walls. And then we try to collaborate in the best possible way. And then of course I'm the CEO for our American subsidiary. So I also tend to spend a lot of time in the US. That's important.
Sure.
Because it's also the fastest growing market for the Gryphon brand. So that's what I do in general.
Okay.
A lot on the phone, a lot on the emails.
Yeah, well, I guess that I would be positioned somewhere in between you guys. Within Nordost, when I'm not doing the travelings, I'm part of the advisory board and the R&D team to develop products. And like you're just saying, that it's very important to get out and to meet the end consumer, the end customer, to talk to them, to be in their places, in their homes, in their systems, to understand what is actually going on. It's quite easy, I think, for a manufacturer to stand and watch the world from your viewpoint, and that's I'm really keen on reversing that and be a part of the end consumer's mindset and what is important.
Sure.
So we do that, and I got a lot of, as we were talking about, I've spent a lot of years in the industry, 20 of them with Nordost, so I've got a good background knowledge of all the heritage products and what's happened before and what has brought us to where we are today.
And obviously the machinations of the industry as a whole.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, got the similar retailer history going on through
So do
that.
I.
Yeah. So I guess there is a passion for first and foremost for music and gadgets.
Yes.
And then you stuck in the industry with all the good friends, and we're having good time when we get together, and I hope that is seen and felt by end consumers, that we're actually not only doing this to be able to flog our products, but to actually bring something to the table.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would like to add that Bjorn and I, we actually had a good run together.
Yeah.
3 years in a row at Nordost. Yeah, that was a cool time. It was actually where I established my career in high-end audio.
Yeah.
That was the very beginning. It was the first manufacturer I worked with.
Yeah. Exactly.
So that was cool.
Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Go a long way back.
Oh yeah.
I think to Rune's point, it is like a relationship business, like it's a people business.
Yeah.
And like you're saying, how do you like express your brand and the values and all the rest of it? I think it's a mix of like knowing very clearly what your philosophy, what your brand is, and what your key benefits are, sort of thing, and then being able to be out and listen to people, listen, as you said, understand what they're going through, and see where your brand adds value to them, and also be having a really clear identity of that. You know, we're working as a brand, speaking to a distributor, speaking to a retailer, speaking to a customer. You know, you need to be really clear, I think, about where you're adding value all the way to the customer, so that message can get all the way through.
Yes.
But it's all people, and finding the right people to work with, sort of thing.
Sure.
Well, whereas I'm in the front line, see customers every day, all sorts of customer, talk to them, go through with them, see, actually everything matters. You sit down normally, you talk to them, see what's the background, what's the experience, expectations, and so on and so forth. So
You said to me you're just trying to sell the most expensive thing.
no, I wish. I wish. I do qualify them, but still not.
Yeah.
You know, yeah. So very very interesting. So different brands deliver different what do you call that how should I say this? When you put together a system, they all have their own characteristic. So, and then customer come in, they got certain expectations, look, sound, the room, the placement, how they're gonna live with it, how they're gonna use it for the whole family. So yeah, very very different. So that way I communicate with the customer, then I communicate with my suppliers, and then work together basically.
Yeah, this might be an easier question for John, but maybe a little tricky for the rest of you. So, what's a product that you admire from the competition? Obviously, you know, you've been representing your own products for such a long time, but there must be a company that you admire in a particular product that says, okay, well, they're doing things either similarly or maybe slightly different, but they're getting the same, the destination is the same, just a different journey.
Yeah. Because I actually think there are several brands out there that has my deepest respect. Not only from a performance point of view, but also from a branding point of view, and how they have managed to establish their business in the market for audio. Sure. And I don't compare Gryphon with the brand, but what they have achieved over the years since 1949, it is Macintosh Group, that the way that they have been going to the market, the way that they have reached out to their clients, the way that they have built their brand, for me is like the Harley Davidson of audio.
Sure.
You know, they have an incredible loyal fan base. And I use the word fan base because people, they are fans.
Yes.
And it's very, it's very, very obvious. So I admire their way of branding the group, Macintosh Group, but especially the Macintosh brand. Sure. But I also see that what is happening right now at Sonos Faber, kind of doing the same, but they're also putting people in front of the brand, you know, Livio. The chief design. Yeah, I think he has a very strong position, and I think the people, they actually like him a lot. He's a lovable guy.
Very, very talented designer too. So, yeah.
So I admire what they have done over the years. Another brand that I think have done incredibly with very limited exposure in terms of marketing and so on. That's actually the Accuphase.
Yes.
They have consistency.
Yes.
And you can't tell if the product is from 1964 or is from 1986. It looks, you know, they are very similar to Gryphon. They have a distinct design.
Yes.
And they stand out.
That's an interesting thing.
And they
So,
have kept their nose, right here, and they fulfill that
exactly.
dream or whatever it is.
They're very good at exactly what they do,
Yeah.
and they haven't really changed much, except for obviously changes in technology.
Yeah.
But,
And of course, they're getting better and better.
Yeah,
I think
improve
all
constantly.
brands,
Yeah.
they improve over time, hopefully.
Hopefully.
Hopefully, we evolve. Otherwise, we are
It's stagnant.
Yes,
otherwise.
yeah. Hopefully, but I think they have done something right as well,
Sure.
because it's the same. They've got fans, and it's
Yeah.
very similar to Gryphon. We got fans.
They build a loyalty. There are a number of other brands that have the same sort of fanatical loyalty. With,
Yeah, it's
with
like a
customers
community.
Will remain with that brand no
Yeah.
matter what.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it becomes a family thing. It's similar we do with Gryphon, where we call every Gryphon owner, we call them a Gryphonista.
Yes.
I learned a new word.
Fashionista,
yeah,
Gryphonista, right?
yeah. And it just seems to work very well that we bring them closer and give them this feeling of being part of something bigger, being part of a family.
Sure.
I think Wilson's another one kind of like that.
Yeah,
They're
I
still
was going to
family
say
owned.
Wilson.
They're quite unique. They can be not to everyone's taste, but like they have that following and they still have their family at the heart of it. And like I think that's another brand that really stands out to me that has stayed true to the values that they started with.
A lot of companies, you can see like the father runs it, started off, pass it on, which is very, very rare, and continue on the legacy. That's a very hard thing to do. And do better on top of that.
Yeah, because
So
that's important.
You got a legend there.
Let's just keep
And then you have to
yeah.
Linn is the same. Linn is the same as well.
Yeah,
From
absolutely, yeah.
analog, very analog, and then you like come in digital,
100%,
full on,
yeah.
and then keep it going. That's a very hard thing to do, to keep a legacy going.
The LP12 is a not that.
I was going to say, well, it's good that
I missed something.
You know what? It's a good thing because they all every turntable, everyone look at it. It's LP12. It's classic look.
That's a selling point in itself, right?
Yeah, but it is an icon in the way it was constructed, and so many other manufacturers follow that. Same thing with Wilson and their Watt Puppy. So many other manufacturers followed that design and were, almost copying, if you like, but maybe that's a bad word, but they were
Inspiration.
Inspired.
Yeah, they were
Yeah, it's a good
inspired
better
by.
word.
Yeah,
You will
that's
face a lawsuit.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, so that's I think establishing that and having a benchmark, because both brands represent something that I do think that Nordost has been able to achieve too. That would be like an absolute reference. The LP12 as the Watt Puppy is the speaker or the turntable. Is it as good or better than the LP12, the Watt Puppy, or in our case the Valhalla, where it all started, sort of the high-end cabling branch for us.
It's a benchmark idea.
Yeah, exactly. In that absolute reference, for a long period of time, it was the BMW 5 Series. Everybody was, is it as good, or it has to be better than that in order to come through? And I think those products do represent something unique, and it is a benchmark. Something happened from that point and onwards.
I remember as a retail salesperson when Dan D'Agostino came in, and it was Krell at the time, and just teaching me a little bit about why something's. He told me I can't predict who will buy it, but I can tell you why things cost the way they do. And Dan D'Agostino is kind of like an icon for me in the industry, and he's done it in multiple brands, and he's got a great following as well. So, and a lot of the companies that I admire, it's the person at the top is where the culture and the passion comes from, and to instill that into their entire family, it's amazing. But Dan's done a great job.
Yeah, I guess you could say that he's one of the maybe 3 people that launched the high end.
The Titans.
Yeah, that's right. So,
And he's still very passionate. I just saw him 2 years ago in Japan. He still traveled.
I know.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, I wanted to turn that around a little bit, discussions just then, and I wanted you guys to share a key product within your own portfolio that you think is your favorite. It doesn't have to be the top of the line, or it may be, but is there a sweet point in your product range where you think, this is out of everything we do, this is the one that is closest to my heart. What do you think?
I was hoping somebody else would go. So I can think through, because I'm right between like 5.
I'll go first. I'll go first. Customers come in, speakers. Always the first thing, speakers. I'll show them the looks. Show them the colors, timber, carbon fiber, whatever they want. So first impression, people always look at speakers first.
Okay.
No particular brand, but speaker comes for me as a
retailer. Obviously,
Correct.
it's a different,
Correct.
Okay, yeah.
I think from Linn, there's been a few kind of standout moments with when a new product's been launched where I've gone. And like the new 360 speaker was one of those because of, well, a number of reasons, but particularly the SoundStage of it. You could like walk around the room and it felt like you were walking around the jazz band in the club as you were going to the bar or something. But probably still we come back to like my LP12. Not like the LP12, but like my LP12. Because like because of the upgradableness and all the rest of it, it becomes, you know, it's like almost like a family heirloom. We've heard stories before of guys like saying he got it from his dad and his dad before that and passing it down to his daughter. So like when I finally got my LP12, they let you build it in the factory. I mean, kind of let you build it. Val, basically, who built it, was like, okay, what you're going to do is you're going to screw this bit on. And so she would unscrew it and go, you do it, sort of thing. And I go, okay, like that. She'd go, no, not like that. And then the next thing she'd go, right, now you're going to put this bit on. And I go, okay, cool. And she'd go, no, not like that. And before I knew it, she basically built it for me. So they put their name on the back of every like product at Linn, the person who builds it. So Val was like, right, you can put your name on it now. And I was like, well, I didn't build it, you built it, sort of thing. So I have the only LP12 that has 2 names on it. So we put hers and my name on it. But like the moment when I got it home, like, you know, and picked the first record I was ever going to play on it and all that, you know, and it was funny. And my wife I got a custom finish, so it takes a wee bit longer. So I got this custom green finish for my LP12, probably sacrilege to some LP12 owners, but it's mine. Yeah. So it took a wee bit longer. And my wife was like that, are you excited to get your new toy? And I was like, it's not a toy. I was like, we're not even this is going to outlive every other product we have in this house. It's going to outlive me. It's going to be passed down. It's not a toy. Of course, she was just like, aye, whatever it was. Like, it didn't even take me on. But like, that's how special I think the LP12 is, because of that longevity that you get with that singular product. It has to be the one.
What about you guys?
I think I could mention several products, especially some of the new ones, which I'm super impressed by. The easiest one would be the Commander preamplifier, because I think it's the best product ever designed at Gryphon. However, I have to go back to the DM100, where it all starts, and it's later on turned into the Antillion Signature, and now the Antillion Evo. The Evo for me is something very, very unique, because the Antillion, it is a brand within the brand.
Yes.
It is so important for the Gryphon to maintain that name alive, because for the real hardcore Gryphonistas out there, similar to you, because you have one.
I have one, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, nice plug.
Yeah, but
You're using our stuff, by the way.
But it just came to my mind. But that the Antillion name has been used for almost 30 years now, and it's the legacy, the heritage, everything is in that box. It's big, it's bold, it's black, it's square, it's very audiophile, and to a certain degree, maybe a little bit vulgar in its appearance.
Old school.
Yeah, and some would say decadent when they look at it. For me, it reminds me a lot about, high performance Lambo, when I see the distinct design with all the sharp angles and edges.
You just love decadence.
Yeah. I do. It's a huge part of my life. Yeah. So for me, that's like a standout product. It's not the best Gryphon, definitely not. It's not the most sonic neutral Gryphon, but it has a certain aura around it. because when I started at Gryphon, I was kind of like, nah, it's too square. I like the other products, but now every time I come back to it, and actually at this year's Warsaw show, I'm gonna play the monos.
Okay.
So that's going to be nice, standing there on the show playing the monos, and you can actually tell the story around this product and how it went from the DM100, evolved slowly over 30 years, sharing the same topology and stuff like that. But it seems like, and to me, it's like a reminder that we did something right when the company was founded in 1985, the true dual mono, pure Class A topology. Zero bullshit. It's just like, it's cool.
Yeah. Just going back to something that you mentioned earlier, because Gryphon, despite the fact that you mentioned that the Antilium could be a different product aesthetically to other Gryphon products, there's still a linking language between
Absolutely.
all Gryphon products that link them. So no matter what they look like, you still spot that's a Gryphon product.
Yeah.
You know. So
We call it Nordic Noir.
Nordic Noir, exactly. Yeah.
And it is a distinct design, and there is a very clear philosophy within the company how we design a product, and that you should always be able to recognize a Gryphon.
Yes.
Mhm.
Always.
I'll take it. It's difficult for me because I'm responsible for 5 brands and trying to pick a favorite of the 5. So I'm going to give you 2.
Okay.
First of all, the first one I call it our muscle car. It's a studio monitor speaker, a JBL 4349. It is one of the finest speakers we've ever made. Compression drivers. JBL's got a rich heritage in the recording studio and pro and residential, but there was some magic when that 4349 came out about 5 years ago. And new products. When you have brands that have storied, JBL 78 years, Mark Levinson's 52, Arcam, we're trying to find a younger customer. We all need to find our next generation of audiophiles, right? So how do you attract that? And I believe we've got a really special product coming out with the new Radius series of Arcam, where we're staying true to what the original founders, John Dawson still comes in to our facility 3 days a week to be able to take his vision of what that brand stood for, but change it so it appeals more to a younger generation and make we need to bring those customers. Exactly. And they all, when you sit down and listen with them, they all know what good sound is. They just haven't been exposed to it. And I think that some of these places are intimidating. Some of the products that we have are very intimidating. So it's up to us to try to bring them in from a different direction.
It's a very important point, and I was going to come to that, but I'll let Bjorn.
Yeah, well, I mentioned it before. The original Valhalla One, the speaker cable of that range, it was such a breakthrough for the cable industry as such. As I said, it set a benchmark for cable manufacturers. You want to be, I've seen so many reviews going on with this product is as good or even claimed to be better than Valhalla. In order to understand that statement, you need to understand what Valhalla is. Otherwise you're just clueless. So it is an absolute reference, and I just remember myself when I first heard it. It was just a total revolution of, can this be made with a cable? can
the
this
difference?
happen? Yeah, the difference.
Correct.
The level of details and things that you could experience from that was an eye-opener and mind-opener for me. And that has lived through. Of the newer range, the Odin Gold sets a standard in that direction. It is, people are coming back into me, myself too. It's unheard of. I wasn't aware of that level was possible to achieve. So I'd say Valhalla One and then Odin Gold.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just quickly on that, Nigel's 1900 pair of Odin Golds, just speaker cable. I put it in, the sound comes all the way to the side. Say, no, take it back. Don't leave it here. Too scary.
You got to be brave. You have to be brave, John.
Scary.
So I want to come back to a point that David brought up, which was very pertinent. It's many high-end flagship products are escalating in price, and they're products that show a company's engineering skills, and obviously there are trickle-down benefits to happen after those products are released. But these flagship, super expensive products that we're seeing, how do you feel about those kinds of products being a little exclusive, maybe to young people that we need to bring into the industry? Do they see that as unachievable, or is it something that they aspire to? And it's a demographic of people that we really need to inject into the industry so that we actually survive.
I think aspirational is really what we want. We want to show them what's possible, and as I'm sure everyone does, is then you say you may not be able to afford this at this moment, but let me tell you what some of our other products do, and it's whether it's the compression driver or of our Everest compared to the some of our more attainable price points.
Yes.
But it's important to show them and let them listen to. And that's what they want. They're aspiring for that anyhow.
Yes.
And they will eventually get it. If it's our job to bring them into it, get them excited, get them, it's a very contagious business, right? And it's addictive. You want to keep going back. I think that's important.
I think it's very similar to the car industry, because I remember when I bought my first Mercedes. Of course, I went straight to the AMG division. I couldn't afford it. It was just like way above my budget. But that was something that was that inspired to me. It was just like, wow, I just loved it. So looking there, sitting in the cars, and then I went for a small C-Class. But that was like the thing. But I think there is another thing to how we can bring a younger generation into our industry. Yes, products, they are probably getting even more and more expensive, more exclusive, more luxurious, no doubt, and put lots of efforts into it. But it's the circular economy that we know, similar to Linn and so on, that an LP12, which is 30 years old, it is still playing. And we see the same with now that probably the first Gryphon you buy will be a second-hand Gryphon, or a Gryphon that has been going through 4 different homes and so on, that a product is still alive 30 years from now, or even more. And I think that's important. It actually gives the opportunity to a younger generation to buy into the brand, because they probably don't have the means to actually buy the entry level right now, which is 35,000 Australian dollars. That's where we start. But with a second-hand Gryphon, 15 years old, 20 years old.
It's attainable and it's an entry point.
Yeah, because you still get phenomenal quality.
I couldn't agree more with the car analogy. In order to aspire, have aspirations, and you need to have a dream, right? And if there is no dream, you're not going to dream it. So I never suffered as a kid from dreaming about the Lamborghini Countach. It never hurt me at all. It was a great dream. Never got there. But it's
still alive.
Yeah, exactly.
It's still alive.
Exactly. And maybe, when time passes by, again, going back to the Valhalla 1, now it is obtainable for many more people.
Yeah.
And it was a dream for many people, and same thing with the Countach. Maybe not that, but you get the what I'm trying to say there. We need to put products. I think it is our responsibility to put products up there that are being dreamt of and that people want or aspire to.
I guess I think there's 2 sides. I think there's absolutely nothing I think there's an absolute benefit to have a flagship and to always be pushing, because that also is what keeps the industry alive, is that we keep coming out with better, more pioneering products. But you have to give people a route to get there.
Yes.
So don't just have this. Like you said, you've got that trickle-down effect, so that people walk in and they go, oh my, I can't believe audio can be this good. It sounds like the orchestra's in the living room. And then if they kind of get there, you can give them, okay, you can start here, we'll build over time, and now you're on the journey, and now they'll get the benefits from all of the brands over time. But I think there's another side to it, which is how are they getting that exposure? And that to me comes right down to like distributors like Advance, retailers like Sound Gallery, people knowing, okay, what are we going to do? Because people aren't walking into the shop anymore. New people aren't just going to walk into the shop for you, and the guys that are sitting hoping that's going to happen are going to get in trouble. So it's how can we think of innovative, exciting, interesting ways to get out there, to get the brand out there and get people in, like some of the events that you and Nigel have ran together. Just one of the examples are interesting promotional schemes that Nigel ran as well. I think that's the other big side, is we need to have the right people with that mindset who are thinking outside the box to get to that market.
Yeah, and I guess you're not only providing a path, but you're also providing small tidbits of flavour from those big flagship products down the chain, and and they understand that there's progression.
Yeah,
both
absolutely.
Monetary progression but sonic performance progression as well.
100%.
I think I'm the perfect example. I'm from Malaysia originally. Young teenager, can't afford anything, walk into a hi-fi shop. The guy didn't chase me out, say, yeah, how can I help you? I said, I can't afford anything, I just want to, what are you selling? Come in. Like all the old uncles sitting there, sit down, say, yeah, sit down right in the middle, listen to this. And they start playing. And they never chase me out, and this become a habit. So when my friends are running around kicking sockers, I'm sitting with their dads, listening to hi-fi station. So I tried to, that inspired me until today. I remember very, very clearly. So even now, like I got students walking past, sometimes I go out, just open door and get some fresh air. And the students walk past, and just hear some music, they just say, come in. Oh, but we said, it's okay, I know, you don't have to buy, come and listen. So I show them what's possible, sit down, whatever track they choose. I think that's very important. So, a bit blowing my horns here, but yeah, working with the right dealers, I think is very important.
And the good thing is, it's always the good guys that do the best. Like, it's the sound guys that are open, that want to, come on in, let's have a listen. They don't sweat the small stuff. They're the ones that actually do the best as well, which makes it a lot more fun.
That's right, there's not that sense of elitism.
Yeah,
No.
Like the ego at the door, let's just listen to some music.
Yeah, that's it.
I think the young generation, or in general everyone, can feel when people they are passionate about stuff. John is passionate about the gear, the music. He's passionate about people.
Yes.
And that you get smitten by that.
And
So naturally you want
In a good way, I hope.
but naturally you want to go to a place where the staff, they are passionate about what they're doing, because very often then they will also be very skilled at what they're doing.
Of course, yeah.
And that is something that people understand. And it's the exact same if you go into a store that sells nice suits or nice shoes and so on. If people they're passionate about it, you end up buying there. Maybe not the first year because you cannot afford it, but it's something to aspire to.
Yeah.
Yes, it stays with you.
Yeah.
I think John is into a very important point there with the dealer and the attachment to flagship products, because a flagship product, because of price points and stuff, can be excluding. The dealer is including the customer into that flagship and helps you to the path.
Move up, correct.
Yeah.
Over the years, I got like customers come in with a $5,000 budget. Yep, let's do this, go on buy second hand, so like you say. And then 7 years, hundreds of $1,000s.
Yeah.
That's it, they move up.
You
They move
help
up once they
establish-
understand.
You help establish a mindset that these things are eventually achievable. Right?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
for sure.
And they trust the dealer
Yeah.
if he or she has done the job right.
Yes, correct.
Paving the path,
They
showing what's
become like the guided advisor.
Yeah.
So if you walk
Yeah.
into that expensive suit shop and you don't know suits, hopefully the guy's going to go, oh no worries, let me tell you all about it. Let me tell you what I'm excited about. And if you've got that approach, then you build exactly as you say, that trust, and they'll come back time and time again.
I always tell my customers, this is a journey. We're going to start somewhere. Don't know where we're going to end up, but good relationships very, very important.
We'll travel together, right?
Yeah, totally.
Like all my customers know where I'm doing this show. They all put their hands up. Do you need a hand? Do you need to pack up? Do you need to carry? So on and so forth. So it's really, really good.
So you guys, all of you attend shows all over the world, audio shows all over the world, and that's getting busier and busier because there are more and more shows coming up all over the world. In fact, I was talking to someone who just attended a show in Peru, and people from all over Latin America travel to Peru. Mm-hmm. So there's been in that particular area, there's been a hunger for an audio show. And we've just had the StereoNet show here in Melbourne, which we've just all been to and attended. And also recently there was news of Munich high-end now moving to Vienna in 2026.
Yeah.
So what do you guys think of the concept of the audio show in terms of its future? What do you think that's going to?
I'm excited. I mean, it's the one place where you do get to talk to everyone, right? Our peers, find out what's going on in their world, go out and see the competition, how they're, but you're the ones that are open to the public versus just trade. Those are the best shows because you can really sit and talk to the consumer, find out where their journey is, where they're at in their journey. I applaud that they're moving to be in different cities. That's good. Yeah. But it's important for me and for our business to have trade shows.
It was quite funny at the show here at the StereoNet show where they had this little sim booth with two sim racers. Yeah. Right. They were occupied constantly. Right. And it was kids and it was elderly people and so on. Everyone was sitting there, you know, and that's just a different part of our industry. Yeah. I think that the shows, they will have to be more innovative, evolve more, because if we go back in time, the shows, they are very similar to, you know, is it 10 years ago or is it 20 years ago? It's the same routines that the organizers will also have to come up with some new stuff. How can we do it? But it's also on the brand's shoulders that we are not just showing up doing the same stuff every time. Yes, I love the in-store events. Yes. And they are also very productive. We get to know the clients. We get to be more
intimate.
Yes. Yeah. Yes.
And you get feedback too.
Yes. Yes. And you show a little bit more of yourself. Yes. You know, because we are building the relationships, and I really like the in-store events. And for me, I'm traveling 150 days every year. And so I'm doing multiple shows, similar to you, Bjorn. You're almost doing the same, you know. But so it really depends on how they are organized and what you want to achieve from the events.
Sure. It builds loyalty too from your customer base. Yeah. Because you obviously when you have an event like that, you put on some food and you might have a live performer, or you know, if you're clever, you mix a few things, and people say, well, you know, I'm treated well at this store. This is the store I'm going to buy my gear from. So that loyalty element is important. Yeah.
It is a lot about presence, because the shows are different from country to country. Our brands are being dealt with or through various setups of distributors, dealers, and so on over the world. So in a given market, it's important. It's like proof of life. Where are you? Where can I get you? And is it a good combination? Is it a good idea to go and get you? I think those questions needs to be answered for the customer when he walks a show, to be able to understand where, oh, that's a good product. That's a good combination. Where can I get it? So the relationship with the dealer during the shows is important. Yeah.
And Nordost have a demo box. So if I'm going to do an install, I always have it in my car. So if they want something, yeah, let's try it, put it up, bang, plug it in. Because the argument is always like that. You go to hi-fi shop, yeah, it's set up, you share it. Yeah, in the shop, yeah, you set up, you share it. How does it sound in my house?
Yeah.
It's always question mark.
That's very
So
good.
this is up to you to actually explain to them how. That's why, yeah, correct. That's why in the shop, I don't do too much acoustic treatment and treat it like that's how people live. This is their living room, so to speak. If you start to do all this, some people are lucky to have a hi-fi room, then do what you want, a man cave. But most of people don't, unfortunately. So they have to live with it, they have to look at it, the family have to be there. So yeah, very, very different.
Okay, this is a more broader point I want to bring in, and we touched on it throughout our conversation today. But how do you think the industry in general is changing, or how does it need to change to survive and prosper?
I think we need to bring in new customers, like from different, like you were saying about the gaming. Gaming is very, very big, so much more big industry than us. I think we need somehow be creative and open more.
Do you think that the headphone space has actually brought in?
Yes, actually, this year's at the show, it's so busy. Everyone to line up, and they actually get a lot of good engagement, so to speak.
They move on from headphones. Up
Correct. From headphone, next thing up will be the actual hi-fi system.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah.
But it's not
Not
given.
necessarily.
And it's not given
Definitely.
because if we are not capable of actually showing them a hi-fi system, let's say, because they're not afraid of buying headphones at $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, and it's an accessory. It looks cool, it's nice, and you have the music on the fly constantly.
Yeah.
It's easy. But getting young people to buy a hi-fi system at $5,000 or at $10,000, that's a whole different case.
Yeah.
Because I think that we have not been good enough to actually show them the possibilities within a certain price range and presenting them to the system, and actually so they get this experience that this 2-channel hi-fi system at $5,000 is significantly better than your headphones. You have a physical impact. You're there. You can actually share the music, the experience with the loved ones, and so on, with your friends. And we have not been good enough doing that. So if we want the younger generation to go from hi-fi into 2-channel hi-fi, we have to up our game.
It's a very interesting point. Although I find young people are more and more insular. They're on the phone, and so I think they kind of enjoy that being separated from the world. But music needs to be shared. You go to a concert, you're sharing music with 1,000 people. So that's I think that's part of the challenge. As you said, introducing them to affordable $4,000-$5,000 sound system, and getting them off their insulation onto a more broader sort of space.
We do a lot of research at Harman, and we're fortunate to have had Samsung with us as well. But when you go out and you try to figure out where that next customer's coming from, it's you've got to be creative, and you really have to understand that the way they're interacting with music is different. Right?
I think we are going also through a period of time now where, when you put your system into the house, it needs to look great. I think that the aesthetics becomes more and more important, whether it's a distinct design or it's a pretty design or whatever. I think it has never been more important. So performance and aesthetics needs to go hand in hand, because you put a piece into your home, and if it's a Gryphon, we know it's big. So it needs to be sculptural.
Yes.
It needs to be something that you can actually live with in your home and think, wow. It's
industrial art.
It's beautiful, or whatever. So I think there are brands out there actually taking that even further now and actually giving that some real thoughts. I know we've been talking about the WAF factor for so many years and so on, and then we've been laughing a little bit, and
It is relevant.
But it is relevant.
It is.
We are human beings living together, with our loved ones, and everyone should accept and appreciate the stuff we put into the house.
Yes.
So a lot of it is on our shoulders.
Yeah.
Because I'm in the front line, I see things very, very differently from you all. And obviously only Australian market, I can speak for other place. And people come in, they look at the system. As I said, speakers the first thing, they always, speaker come first, because that's the most visible thing. Amplifiers and so on and so forth, you can always hide in the cabinet. So speaker always come first. They look. And they don't ask, they say, oh, okay, where's this from? Where it made? And what's the story behind it? How long has the company been around? And so on and so forth. Less and less people come in and ask for numbers. So which is really, really good. It's a really good sign. So they just get, does it sound good? Rather than giving him, sit down, right? Sit down, these are the spec sheet.
Yeah.
How much, does this, does it? No, just sit down, reliable, looks very beautiful. My wife accepted, press play, it works, sounds good, that's it.
Yeah.
Very, very simple.
I think another factor that is coming into play more now is more high-end products which have wireless technology built in. Like David was saying, so the connection with the phone via Bluetooth or Wi-Fi. There's some fairly major brands that are coming out with upmarket wireless speakers, which basically are a solution. They're a hub, and I mean Linn's been.
Yeah, we put the Bluetooth and Wi-Fi in from basically around when we launched Select. So that's 2018. I think that's when it went in, and then it went into all the other products. But again, I think that's where I say this, and I failed at it. That's where I think the education piece comes in, because someone might come in and go, okay, I can connect it to my phone, and they can do that, and they'll still spend the same amount of money in the product, and they have to do it another way. But John's going to be going, you can do that, that's great, you've got that features there, test
something better.
But honestly, get like Studio Master streaming in there and like blow it away and wow it away. It's not really worked in my home. I use Qobuz and 24-bit Studio Master, but every time I see my wife, she's just use Bluetooth, and I'm like, I've got a Qobuz account for a reason. Oh, come on! But it's great because then it's easier for the whole family as well. So once my daughter's a bit older, she'll be very easy to go up and use it as well.
I remember customers coming in, Bluetooth's how they get connected, and I purposely, while they're listening to music, I text them or I call them, because the music stops on Bluetooth. And that will allow you to talk about, there's other ways of getting great sound. And as soon as they realize that their music can stop, and it does, up at a party, they're just sitting there streaming music, and then mom calls, and the music stops. But it's amazing when the music stops. They're into it. They're into it.
The conversation comes through the speakers. Shut up!
It just stops the music, and our job is to, and how they're engaging now. Social media is how they're really, could be the way the first time they're getting exposed to it. So having a brand ambassador that's out there talking on our behalf is important.
Where there is a tendency for us to look into the nitty-gritty details, which we are good at. That's our expertise. But we want to give something that the customer he doesn't bother about, like what we were talking about, the DACs and the bits and the, in our cases, the microns of layers and of material and stuff. Because I guess the question should be, customer walks into a store, what kind of experience can you give me? And your expertise is to dissect and to pick the right products and to go through all the details and bring the customer that experience, not assume that he would understand by repeating all the numbers and say, this is going to be a great experience for you. And by doing that, because we do have different wishes with what we want to do. Some wants to have an entertainment system for when they have a big dinner party coming in. Some might have a different need. He wants to sit alone and have just that intimate feeling because I only listen to my eclectic jazz or whatever. And that is the we're all passionate about the music. We want to get that. We don't want to get bits and dielectrics and stuff.
Because like my customer just come in and say, okay, I now decided on hardware. I say, cabling wise, what are your thoughts?
Yeah.
I'll say, well, for this price point, I'll let you decide. Come to my room, and then and the way I want to lay it out, where is it gonna go, and all those length, and just let me decide everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is this what you want in terms of experience?
Yeah, for sure.
Not in terms of specs.
Correct. Now, what's it made of?
When
you don't go
when you
through
listen
that.
to music, you're not thinking numbers. You're thinking
Correct.
emotions and connection.
Yeah. Our job is to try to understand how technically we get to that.
Yes. Well, guys, thanks. On that note, we'll call it a day. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.